Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of American Truck Simulator. I'm SoCal Thero, and today we're going to be doing another trucking run here on our new profile. I just installed some more of the mods that I had from my other profile, so hopefully the game looks a little bit better from the first episode that we had going. We haven't done anything off camera yet, so it's pretty much how you saw it left off in the last episode. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna look for another job, and obviously I'm looking for price, so something that will earn us some more money here, which looks like this is gonna be it right here. And driving these old Peterbilt trucks, as much as I like how they just remind me of just general trucking and altogether. They are really hard for me to drive. I don't know if it's just a personal thing or what. But we're gonna go ahead and take this one. Looks like it's a job going out of San Diego where we're based at right now, and it's taking us all the way up to Bakersfield, which goes by where I actually live in real life here. So we're gonna go ahead and take that job right now. Like I said before, we don't have our own truck yet, so we're still working towards saving up enough money to get our own truck here. I might take out a small loan from the bank to just purchase one. Have to worry about that. So we are inside the truck here. I don't know why it pops that up. I'm gonna go ahead and fire up the truck here. Yeah, this one does have speed. Okay. So we're here right now at Tesla. We're hauling, what are we hauling? Machine parts. Okay. We got machine parts. We got 11 hours and 5 minutes to get it to its destination, and the job pays $62.86. We'll see how much I actually get though from accidents and whatnot. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna test my mods here real quick just to kind of hear them. Yeah, that sounds like they're working right. So we're gonna go ahead, and I think the mirrors are terrible and how we're sitting is terrible, but I mean there's nothing much I can do about that in the truck. We're just gonna have to live with it. So we're gonna go ahead and pull out here. Engine started. This is gonna be fun to take out of here as well, just because of how tight this. I'm gonna hit that. Yep. It's already off to a good start. Like I said before, I'm not the best at this, so this is I'll probably end up hitting something doing this, right? Back that up. Get out even wider towards the fence. Far up as we can. I'm really trying not to hit that other trailer is what I'm looking at. Which I think I'm past the pivot point. And yeah, we're cleared. Okay. And we're not cleared up here now. Great. Have to jackknife the truck at this rate. This probably wasn't even the correct way to exit, to be honest. I didn't even look to see. So we're making the most we can out of it right now. These guys are, if it's not, these guys are looking at me like, hey man, what the hell are you doing? This ain't the right way to go. Judging by all these turns, I'm gonna assume that's, oh well, looks like I can get out this side. Gotta be really careful with it. Go, there we go. We're through there, and we're getting out to the road right about now. Alright. And we're gonna block the entrance here, unfortunately. Oh, not what I want. Alright, we're looking a little. Oh, now we're not looking there. Probably be best if we put a single on too. Got a truck pulling out. We're gonna ask him to wait for us. Get out here. Like he's being generous and letting us do, and we are out on the road. There we go. Alright, so like I said before, this is heading us up to Bakersfield. Hopefully the game looks a little bit better for you guys. I got most of my mods put in. As you can see there's San Diego PD and their livery on their police department. But we're gonna head up here to Bakersfield, and this guy's gonna turn, and he doesn't have a signal on the back, so that doesn't help me out any. Oh yeah, he does. I just didn't see it. All right, we are out on the road again. Well, yeah, like I mentioned in the last episode, I don't know how many episodes of this series I'm gonna do, or any kind of schedule or anything like that. Once I get these recordings out, I will probably just like release a whole bunch of them out the gate. Not sure yet though, but just because it's gonna be like one job here, one job there, etc. But like I said in the other one, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to have enough questions to answer to make this entertaining. I obviously don't want this to be boring to where it's just me driving around with no commentary for you guys. So I just don't want it to get stale, basically. I don't want you guys sitting here and I say nothing and I'm just driving a truck around and you guys see me make my mistakes and crash into things and whatnot. Here we go. Okay, the game registered that. Again, turn like it should. When I used to play before, like if you didn't come to a complete stop, which is correct too, matter of speaking, if don't come to a complete stop for a right-hand turn in California, it's considered a legal California roll, basically, like you would at a stop sign. So come to a complete stop, and then when I signal, I guess it's registering. Oh, this will be fun with it. And wow, brakes are still a little touchy. I'll have to really go through and fiddle with that. Oh, that was close to the truck. And then I was so scared I started to pull my steering wheel off my desk. Here, no yellow. Oh, there's the yellow, but I got the mod in for longer yellows because that's actually how it is and how it should be. Oh, we're gonna discover something right now here. There we go, which I meant to do on the last run too. Forgot that you got to discover all the stuff to be able to get like the quality employees. Find the truck dealers and whatnot. Probably could pull out, but focus by. No, that's not focus. Is that a C-Max? I'm not sure. So yeah, a little bit about myself, just to answer questions. Let's see here. What's one of the questions? So Calthero, where are you from? You said you're between Los Santos and Blaine County on your LSPFR series. Okay, so to give you an idea where I'm from, I do hail from the liveries on my LSPFR series. If you see my downloads on GTA 5, the liveries are based on Marietta, California, and that is where I live actually. I've lived out here for about let's see, 2007. So yeah, about 10 years I've lived out here now. I used to live in a town called Lake Elsinore, which is just about 20 minutes north of where I'm at now. And again, it's like I said on my LSPDFR series, I said I'm in between Los Santos and Blaine or Sandy Shores out in Blaine County there. Basically, my perception of it is obviously Los Santos is to mimic Los Angeles, which is correct, and yeah, it is away from me here. And then Sandy Shores kind of is like the Inland Empire, basically. Is if you lived out here, is the best guesstimate to it. And I honestly feel like Sandy Shores is like Hemet, is a town that's out here. It's about another 20 or 30 minutes east of me, and it's more inland from the highway here. Ah, God, I hate getting on these freeways. And so I live basically just before Sandy Shores is the best way to describe it for the GTA 5 LSPDFR people that are watching this series as well. I lived out, like I said, I lived here for 10 years now. It'll be 10 years this November. And before that, I lived in Lake Elsinore, California, which is, like I said, about feet in here. Hold on. Hold on. There we go. Now we get cruise control. I lived in Lake Elsinore, California, for a good majority of my life. About I'm gonna say 16 years. I pretty much grew up in Lake Elsinore, and prior to that, I was born in, lived in Long Beach, California, which er, everybody knows where that's at. And if you don't, well, if you listen to Snoop Dogg, you'll know eventually because he calls it the LBC what that is. But and it's just outside of Los Angeles, if you still don't know. But anyways, yeah, that's just a little bit about me there. That's where I hail from, live. And so, oh, there we go. In relation to this game, like I said, it's in between San Diego and Los Angeles. The town in this game that's closest to me, oops, oh man, the horn is still not working. Here, I'll give you guys an. So the 10 freeway is about 10, it's about 30 minutes away from me. So I live like right over here somewhere by like where this winery is. That's why I say like this game's fun, but it's obviously not as accurate. Like the 15 freeway should go all the way down here. The 5, yeah, is the main freeway. They had to do stuff just to make it all work. I understand. No hate there. The game can only handle so much. But yeah, that's about where I live in real life. Let's see, what's another question I got here? What do you do for a living, and what have you done in the past for a living? Or do you still go to school? Okay, well, I'll answer the other questions after this if there's time, but I really think this one it will like really drag on. Obviously, I live in Marietta in my own home, so I don't go to school because there's just no way you could afford that. And excuse me, just on a personal note, there, I'm 32 right now. I turned 33 for this as of this recording this Sunday. And no, I do not attend school. I never went to college. This when I get, oh, I guess I could tell my story and then you'll kind of get the gist of why I didn't. Oh, excuse me. I need to get some water here. My throat's starting to dry up. When I was in high school and pretty much growing up, my dad worked at a car dealership. It's in fact, it was a Ford car dealership. And he made his way up through the ranks. He was a mechanic, a service writer, service manager, general manager, and then at one point he became a partial owner. And when I was 16, he started taking me to work and making me work there as well. And eventually, after I finished high school, I said, well, what's the point of college? I'm just gonna work for my dad, and eventually one day I'll inherit the dealership. Not knowing what I know today, obviously. And I'll get to that in a sec. So after a while, I'm working at the dealership. I worked there for about 5 years. I made my way up washing cars. I was a lube tech is what it's called. Basically, I was the guy that did all the oil changes at the dealership. They didn't pay you by the job. They paid you by the hour. Like most mechanics, they get paid kind of like car salesmen off of a commission. Basically, how many hours they log of work. And so I was a lube tech at one point, and then I was what was called a lot porter, which is the kid that runs around and parks all the cars, makes them look all nice and neat for when you go to shop for your car. And then after that, I was a body shop tech, so I worked on doing body work on vehicles. And then finally, I ended up as what was called a inventory manager. So basically, I managed the inventory of all the new vehicles that we would purchase, and then our used car inventory as well. Oh, I'm sorry, my throat is like really bad right now, so I do apologize. But after that, my dad, like I said, he was a partner in this business. So the main owner of the business was a friend of his. He's been a friend of his since high school. He decided, this was back in 2003, 2004. This is when the economy was really tanking and car dealerships were just dying left and right because they couldn't make any money and couldn't stay afloat. So his business partner decided that he didn't want to have anything to do with the car industry anymore and wanted to sell his half of the business. But unfortunately, when he did that, my dad was forced to have to sell his half of the business as well. Is this truck really going to slow down? Like a slower zone or something? I'm going to have to slow down for him now. Yeah, thanks for that, buddy. Yeah, my dad basically had to end up selling his portion of the business or his shares, I guess is the best way to say it. And with the new ownership, they knew that my dad had an affiliation with the old ownership and they didn't want him around, so they basically laid him off, saying that all business is slow. As a PR legal way of putting it. And of course, I followed suit because I had a relationship to the previous ownership, basically, because of my father. So they didn't keep me around anyways, which is fine. I really did. The only thing that sucked about that job was leaving the people, because I really loved the people I worked with. They were great people, awesome. Not just because I was the boss's son, but they were really nice to me and treated me really fairly. That was I'm skipping things here. That was my second job. My actual first job was I worked at this paintball range, and I was a referee there, but I only worked there for a week, and so I don't really call that a job. I mean, you work 2 days and then you quit. I mean, I can't really say that's experience. But I was a referee there for a weekend. I was filling in for a buddy, and the guy was just a sleazeball that owned the place anyways. I mean, he would pay you under the table. I worked a 16-hour shift, because you had to get there, open the place up, get all the stuff ready for people that wanted to rent stuff, and you had to go out on the fields and run around and make sure you were calling the game fairly. And oh, excuse me. Woo. Basically, you had to call the game fairly, and then after you called the game, you would have to get all the equipment again, clean up all the equipment, put all the equipment away, lock up this place, and then he would pay you under the table $50 for a 16-hour day. That was where I was like, okay, nope, this ain't for me. I ain't gonna do this. And I think they eventually found out, like, I think the government found out or something, because the place closed after that, or I think it's still there, but it's under new management now, and obviously they treat people within the government regulations with minimum wage and whatnot. So yeah, that was my first job. The car dealership was my second job. My third job was actually at a car dealership as well, but it was out here in Marietta. The one I worked at before with my dad, where he was partial owner, was in Orange County, in the city of Westminster. And eventually that dealership closed as well. Just as a side note, that dealership is no more as well. The person that bought it from my dad's partner owned a second dealership, and he wanted to save that one during the troubled times. And oh, look at that truck off on the side of the road, overheat. But yeah, he wanted to save his original dealership, so he ended up closing that dealership and firing all the people or laying them off, however you want to word it. So it was real sad to see. It was a really good place. I mean, my dad worked and was there for 32 years, so I mean, you can imagine pretty much my entire life. My dad, the way he brought home, I guess the old saying, putting food on the table, bringing home the bacon, whatever you want to call it, was at this one dealership that pretty much raised his family. And, well, not raised, but supported his family, rather. So, yeah, so the third job that I got, if you want to say the paintball one was an actual job, is I worked at a car dealership again, but out here, closer to my home where I live now. I didn't live out here at the time when I got this job, but when I got this job, I was like, well, I should live closer to my work, because when I worked at the other one, it was a good hour-and-a-half commute just to get to work and home, and I didn't like spending my life in a car for most of the day, so I wanted to do something a little bit closer to home. And then at this place, I was I started off as a car salesman, and yeah, it's true, we are sleazeballs. And the job after this is where I try to buy back my soul, which is a little side joke that you'll hear here in a moment. And then after I was a car salesman, I became a internet sales manager. Basically, when you inquire about a car on the internet, I was the guy that was emailing you back. Then I was the finance manager, which is the guy that you talk to if you've ever purchased a new car. I was the guy that you talk to in the office about paperwork and then like additional things that you might want and what your APR is, what your monthly loan, like what the amount is you're gonna pay monthly, or if you're purchasing a car, how much it is, stuff like that. Whew. Yeah, after this episode, I gotta go get some water. Then after the finance manager, I went back to being a service writer, which I may have not mentioned in the last episode or the last part, but yeah, I was a service writer as well. And after that, I just kind of I had been in the car industry for about I want to say 9 years. And I was looking at what it was giving me, and I had no 401k, I had no savings, I was living paycheck to paycheck. I had a car, or not a car, I'm sorry, I had a home in Southern California, of all places where it's really expensive to live, and I was making minimum wage. Like, it was a struggle every month, and thank God for my parents, which is what I'm gonna say right now and thank. I was very fortunate that while I had a roommate and I worked this job, and I was barely getting by. The months I couldn't get by, I was lucky enough to have my parents there to help support me, which I eventually did pay back. I ain't gonna sit here and say, oh yeah, I never paid them back, I just took their money and whatnot, but yeah, I did eventually pay them back. I don't know, Bakersfield. And yeah, I looked at my life and was like, I just can't afford to live like. And there's a speeding violation for talking and rambling on. But yeah, I just said, you know what? I can't live like this. I need to have a savings. I need to have some sort of like. I had no health care, no dental care, nothing. I lived day to day hoping that nothing bad would happen to me, and I couldn't do it anymore. So I had a friend that he was a lot porter at the dealership that I would sold cars at, and he was basically the one for me. Like anytime I sold a car, he would wash up the cars for me so I can deliver it to the customer. Am I really gonna? Okay, cool. Wait for me. He started at this job that's in the town next to me. It's called Temecula, by the way, and the name of the company is Abbott Vascular, and if you don't Google it or don't know what it is, it's a company, the branch of the Abbott company. They make like Abbott makes baby formula, just like one of the very small things that they do, and you'll see it out there like on oh, I can't think of the name of the product off the top of my head, but they'll say like Abbott on it and have an A next to it as one of the people that produce it. But vascular division makes the they make the what is that? There it goes. They make what are called stents. And basically if you don't know what a stent is, a stent is something that is placed in your body because you have in an artery, because you have blockage there from plaque. So like, just say bad eating, bad habits, what have you, is what a stent is. And they would put that inside of you to avoid having to do open heart surgery, and basically get you going the next day. Like you'd feel like you were having a heart attack or a stroke, and they'd put this stent in you, and then the next day you'd think nothing happened, like you had a cold or something. That's what was amazing about it. So at this job, I worked at I worked on the manufacturing line. I actually worked on one of the product lines that they use to build stents, and I did that for about 5 years as a temporary employee. Being that I worked through a temp agency, I didn't actually get hired on or was an employee of that company. I just worked at the site until the 2-year contract was up, and then after that I had to wait 30 days and basically be unemployed for 30 days, or they'd hire me on instead, which company has not hired anybody since like 2006. So and at this time it was the year 2009, 2010. So I wasn't getting my hopes up. I was really hoping, because my supervisors are like, "Oh, we love you, we're gonna get you hired on," and then they just egg you on for 2 years, and then all of a sudden it's, "Oh yeah, we couldn't do it, maybe next time, better luck next time." So I did that for 5 years, and we're gonna make this drop here, and then I'll continue my life story here in a second. Get 2 drops in on this episode. Luckily, this was an easy drop. It was just pull in and go, as you can see. So we got the machine parts delivered. Unfortunately, we got some tickets along the way, which that sucked, but hey, what can you do? We're gonna, oh yeah, we didn't level up. Okay. Yeah, I think so we could continue the story so it's not in multiple episodes. We'll do another run here. Maybe we'll do something not. That's something $10,000. Fertilizer. Okay, well, we'll do that. And we're gonna try to get something here that's not so long. Okay, here we go. We'll do Los Angeles to what is that, Yuma, Arizona. But we'll do that. We'll get started here shortly. Okay. All right, guys. Sorry for the break. Wow, we are really sitting up there. Sorry for the break. I did not want to keep going and my voice being the way it was, which I'm sure it probably still will be anyways. Man, why are we so close? Hey. Oh, it's the field of view. That's the problem. There we go. All right, so we're on the Yuma job right now, and again, I apologize. I had to get some water, and then I don't know if you could hear earlier, one of my cats was meowing behind me, and I didn't want him to be part of the video. Which that's one of the questions over here too, so I guess I can answer that in a future episode as well. But to continue with my rambling from the last part of this, from the last drop. So yeah, I worked at Abbott Vascular for 5 years as a temp, and this is where I met my wife as well. I've been married, for those that don't know, I've been married for 3 years now as of 2 days ago, which is October the 11th from this recording. Ooh, and we are just rushing out here, not looking, no signal. There we go. Oh yeah, I've been, like I said, I've been married for 3 years. I've known my wife, and we dated for a total of 6 years now. I met my wife at Abbott Vascular when I worked in their warehouse. Because at one point I stopped working in the manufacturing line, and I got moved to the warehouse where I permanently stayed at until my last day being there. But that's where I met my wife. Basically, she pulled orders in the warehouse. I did as well, and started getting to talking, and went out on a date one night, and 3 years later we were getting married. Pretty much how that went in a nutshell. I'll probably talk more about it some other time here. But yeah, after about 5 years at Abbott Vascular, I was thinking to myself, you know, I left the car industry because I had nothing like saved up, like any kind of like retirement, anything going towards anything in my life. So I was like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and start this job. We'll have to work as a temp for 6 months, because I was all cocky, like, yeah, I'm a good worker, they'll hire me in 6 months. And 5 years later, I'm still not hired. So I'm like, okay, this isn't working out. And my girlfriend at the time, was my wife now, was like, you know, they can't treat you like this. You can't, this is not working towards anything. You need to find something better. And that's ultimately what led to my push to my current job, or well, my current employer that I work at. Excuse me, I got water now, but I'll probably still have to stop. But my current employer that I work for is a distribution, well, they do printing as well. It's a printing company, basically. For anybody that's employed anywhere that has like health insurance, when you guys get your big packets every year for your open enrollment, where they tell you all the benefits and all the different plans to choose from for your company, my company is the company that prints that for you. I mean, that's not the only thing we print, but that's one of the... Ooh, we're drifting over here. But that's one of the many things we print at this company. So when I started at this company, I was just a order puller. Again, I drove called PIVs, but it stands for Power Industrial Vehicle. Basically like a order picker or cherry picker. If you want to Google it, you can see it there. I started off doing that, and granted, the reason I went to this job is because they were like, no, you'll be an employee here, you'll get benefits after 6 months, you'll get vacation time. I was like, oh, this is great. So after the first year, I really got to know my manager pretty well and my supervisor, and they're like, hey, you know what, we got this opening in the receiving department. How would you like to be a receiver? And I was like, oh, that'd be great. It was something new, and it was promotion and pay and everything. I felt good about myself. Well, after that, another year goes by. The company is announcing that they're going to split into 2 different companies. And my manager and my supervisor are going to this one company, and they've asked for me to go to that company. I'm like, okay, cool. I guess they need a receiver. Well, it turns out they wanted somebody to be a supervisor for the warehouse, and they saw my previous history as an inventory manager at my dad's dealership. And that's how I picked up the job I'm at currently, which is I say warehouse supervisor, but it's actually, the technical title name is a warehouse crewing coordinator, which I pretty much oversee the warehouse of our building and the distribution of it. So to kind of tie this all up, just to give you an idea, that is how I got into American Truck Simulator. Because of the current job I'm at, I see all the different trucks that pull up. I see the whoops, I'm trying to find my lights there. That's my high beams. You can see there's my lights. There we go. Notice it's getting darker, so I had to go for the light switch there. So that's how I got into liking American Truck Simulator. I was like, yeah, I've seen the Peterbilts in person. I've seen the Kenworths. I've seen the I think it's Freightliner. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I just finished a day at work right now, so I'm not exactly all focused right now on everything. But I've seen those, and I was like, yeah, I see the different truck drivers, and I see all this different stuff that they got to do, and it'd be pretty cool to kind of have a game where it's like that, where I got to see that. So I'm trying to find the... Have the high beams on? Can't. Yeah, I did. Oh boy. Sorry. So that's how I that's how I advanced in my career, basically. How I moved up. It took a lot longer to explain that than I thought I would, but I did kind of mention it'd probably take a full episode of it. But yeah, going back regarding the selling my soul, being a car salesman thing, that's why I worked at Abbott Vascular. I figured too, maybe I can get my soul back basically if I worked for a company that tried to save lives every day. Small corny joke for you there. Oh man, this water is not helping. I hope that's not more than just throat dry. So yeah, that's pretty much my career here. See if I can find another question from somebody that'll be a little bit easier to answer. It won't take as long because we're obviously getting pretty close to our stop, although I stopped way too short. We got nobody coming that way? No? Okay. Just going for it. We're running the sign, nobody sees it. Hopefully nobody cares. There we go. See how far out we are. 129 miles. Okay, so that's what we can base it off of. Let's see here. What's another question? Oh, whoa, we're speeding too. Not paying attention. No, won't be here shortly. There we go. SoCal Zero, do you have any pets? And if so, what kind of pets do you have? Yes, I have pets. I have two. I have two indoor cats. If you watch my LSPDFR series, probably, and from what you're hearing so far, you can probably understand that I'm a car fan, car enthusiast. So I have two indoor cats, which my wife hates because she hates indoor cats and the fact that they're indoors and they make a mess, and I fully agree with that. But they've been indoor cats for so long. I've had them. I've had them pretty much since I lived in this house in Marietta, so I've had them for 10 years. Water break there. We're really speeding. Yeah, I have two cats. They're a boy and a girl. They're brother and sister, and they're not brother and sister because they both live with me. They're actually from the same litter and brother and sister. The girl's name is Lonnie. Oh, comes the cop. I'll slow down for him. There we go. So my girl cat's name is Lonnie. She's black and white. I call her my little Oreo cookie because she's like an Oreo cookie. She's black and white. And then my other cat's name is, again, because car enthusiast home, is NOS. N-O-S. Just like the energy drink, just like what you see in the movies and on cars for modifications to go fast, whatnot. It was a perfect name for him. And at the time, the roommate I had was driving the same car as me, a Mitsubishi, so unfortunately the cat got stuck with the name because he lived in a house with two car enthusiasts, which is... He likes it. I mean, oh, speeding violation. Yep, right there, watching. Is that stupid speed limit change right there. But, both my cats respond to their names. They know their names. I mean, I know most people are like, oh yeah, cats, they suck. They're not friendly like dogs. It just depends how you raise them. My two cats, Lonnie, the black and white one, the girl, she's a real skittish cat. Like, she swears like she was beaten her whole life, which is not true at all. But after I got her fixed, she just... and they tell you this too, when you get your animals fixed, sometimes their personality's not the same. And that's how hers is. She's a little skittish, but she loves me. Like, if anybody new in the house, she just goes and hides in the corner. It took her... I mean... my wife moved in after we got married, and it took her at least 7 months before she actually would come out of the corner to greet my wife when she came home. So that gives you any idea. It takes a long time to earn her trust, so not easy. And Nos, he's real laid back. He's a real chill cat. He's really cool. He'll just lay with you. He could be a little asshole sometimes, though. I ain't gonna lie, and I ain't gonna sugarcoat that. He can be an asshole. And if you were watching earlier, and if it comes through on the headset, The cat that was mowing, that was Nos. Lonnie was, oh wait, that wasn't her doing the mowing, that was Nos. Just begging for attention, basically. So yeah, I do have 2 indoor cats. Not to say I'm not a dog person. I love dogs too. Growing up, I had dogs and cats at our house, so I love both of them. The only reason I don't have a dog is because where I live. I live in a townhome / kind of condo, I guess is the best way to describe it for people that don't know. A townhome well, I'll tell you the difference, and then that way you kind of get the gist of it. A condo is basically when you're done paying for a condo, you own a space, because condos can be on the 1st floor, 2nd floor. When you're done paying for it, you own that space. So if you're on the 2nd floor, you own that air basically, or above the lot. In a townhome, you own the lot, like you own the land that you live on too. Although it's not big, I mean, I ain't gonna say I got this big ass house or anything like that. They're just like a condo, except you own the land, not just the air. And so getting back to the pets, like I said, I love dogs, but I live in a townhome and I have a backyard, but to be honest, it's like the size of your average patio in California. It's not that big. I mean, I think it's been so long since I looked. My house square footage is 1,200 square feet, and that's my house. That doesn't include the backyard, and that does include the garage. So my backyard, I want to say, is maybe 400 square feet. I could be completely wrong, and you'll probably laugh and go, "You mean you got like a barbecue space and that's it?" And that to be fair, that is about what I have back there. Is just like a barbecue space, and then it goes into my garage basically. Wow, that was a really hard turn there. Really got to work on these brakes. So yeah, when going back to the dog thing, me and my wife want to eventually rent this house out and have it as a rental property, maybe retire into it one day. And it's too small of a backyard to have a dog living with us. And I don't want the dog living in the house too, like I have the cats already, because I mean, cats, they're litter box trained. They know there's a box in the room somewhere, and that's where they're supposed to do their business. Dogs, if you train them and you have the patience, you can get them to wait until you get home to go outside and do their business, but not all dogs train the same. And I don't care if you're a world-class trainer or anything like that. Every dog has a different personality, just like people. And one dog is not going to act the same as another dog just because it's the same breed of dog or a different breed or it's the same trainer, anything like that. There's one dog might be an asshole, one dog might be the coolest dog in the world. That's just how it is. Like I said, animals are like people. They all got different personalities too. And my cats are an example. I got one that's really skittish, like she just hates the world and everything around her and is always afraid of it. And then I got one that's real laid back and just won't leave you alone if you don't show him any attention. So this goes to show all the different personalities you get out there. But yeah, one day my wife and I want to, hopefully in the really near future, would like to purchase a home, like an actual house, not like another townhouse or a condo or anything, and have enough backyard space to get a dog. Personally, I like bigger dogs. Like I like German Shepherds or a Husky. That's like what I would prefer to get. My wife is really like inclined to get a small dog. Like she really loves the Corgi dogs, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, they're cute. I like them. They're small, cute, and funny to look at, and look like they'll be a great time to be around because they're energetic as much as their little legs allow them to be. But I've always been a big dog fan. It's just my own personal preference. So that's going back to answer the original question after dragging that out for so long. I have 2 cats. They're both 10 years old. They're indoor cats, and they are actually brother and sister from the same litter. And we are finally pulling into Yuma here. And of course, I answered that question a little too quickly. See how much farther we got. Yeah, we're pretty close. We're gonna start another. Whoa! Let's get to a stop. Jesus. Truck did not want to slow down. So it says we're about 6 miles out from our drop-off location here. See here. We're in Yuma, Arizona now. Must be at that plant over there where that light's flashing. Looks like it's the only thing out here. And we'll see how difficult this drop is as well. And sorry if I'm like not observing traffic laws. Like you saw, I got a ticket real quick there from talking. Usually I can walk and chew bubble gum, I guess is a phrase that you would use. But I guess when I'm playing a game, it's not as so. Oh, this is gonna be hard. Gotta get around them, kinda blind, and park it in a barn. Unless there's an opening on the other end. I could detach and see if there is, but yeah, let's go for it. Why not? Oh, whoa. There we go. Oh, we're straightening out there. Let's not do that. Oh, it looks like there's a trailer blocking. So it looks like this is the only way we're going to be able to do this. This I will probably have to Austin Powers into the spot, because this don't look like it's going to be easy at all. Alright, let's crank the wheel the other way here. And if we get the mark, I'm just calling that good, like I said before, because I am not good at this in first person. Looking good there. I'm gonna probably have to cut it even more though. Oh, we totally missed it. Totally missed it. Well, like I said, probably gonna have to Austin Powers this thing. Turn it again. This is going to be difficult. This is going to be the one that makes or breaks me getting out of the truck, I think. Come on. Come on. There you go. Oh, yeah, we are. Look at how far over we are. Jeez. I'm like trying to look at the back of the trailer and judging it off that, and that is just not doing it. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh yeah, we are way off. Okay. Unfortunately, this one's gonna have to be in the third person. Alright guys, I got the first one, and then the first drop for this episode, but they were both pretty easy, and that's why. Oh, that is not right at all either. Wow, we just... Oh, that messed that up. Oh, and then we just hit that trailer. Yep, I definitely hit that. Alright, let's see here. Wheels on my chair are moving. Cut it a little bit. Alright, we're clearing the trailer as close as that is. Oh, that was, yep, that's a hit. Jeez. I have got to get used to this game again. That was bad. It didn't take any damage on the truck, but it should have. It just didn't register it enough. I'm gonna have to call for the assistants here in a second and just have them park it. This is, man. This, no. Jeez. Oh, if you're wondering, yep, I can't park. Can't park worth of shit on this game. Hitting the trailer in front of me. I am so far off right now. Oh no, that is not what I want to do. For YouTube guidelines. What the parking brake? Oh, I tapped the button. Alright, let's see if I can get this. If I don't get this here pretty soon, I'm gonna edit this out of the episode so I don't torture you guys with my terrible parking. Let's do this again. Like I said, we're calling that good. As terrible as that is, the trailer's there at least. But we're calling that good. After we hit everything. Oh man, that was bad. That was a bad park job. Are we leveled up? We're gonna go for distance again here so I can make some more money. There we go. And that's gonna do it for this episode, guys. I hope you're enjoying the series. If you are new to the channel or would like to, please go ahead and hit that subscription button below. I'd really appreciate it. Lets me know I'm doing a good job and you're enjoying the content you are seeing here. And again, if you have any questions for me that you'd like me to answer here or stuff that we could talk about during our road trips, I have my email address on the YouTube channel there on the about section. Feel free to submit your email, or well, rather email your questions to me, and I will try to put them in an episode here. I am setting up a Discord right now, and that'll probably be where it'll change to instead of an email address, just to make it easier for you guys. So yeah, I will see you out there on the next one.